after the presidentials, we spent a night at a hostel in Gorham, New Hampshire, where we decided that we wanted to do the entire next section of the White Mountains, which is the last section called the Wildcats. We wanted to do that entire section, which is 21 miles, in one day and come back to Gorham and spend another night in a bed. I don't know what I was thinking when I agreed to this because 21 miles is no joke, particularly over this section of the White Mountains. The Carters, in particular, are very difficult, but I decided to do it. And as you'll see, it was not an easy day. Once you get past the nice flat section leading up to the mountains, to the Wildcats, you go straight up, much like we did in the Presidentials and Franconia Ridge. It's a straight up climb at this point, but with some nice views. Not as dramatic as Franconia and the Presidentials or even Mount Musalak, but some really nice views and some interesting terrain, some things that we hadn't seen before, like these rock formations. While we've been over big rock stones like this, that was pretty vertical and a real challenge, but fun. This is the gondola on top of Wildcat Mountain, which you can actually go down. I think it's $12. You can go down and have lunch or dinner at the restaurant and come back up, which I won't be doing. So as we're going over the Wildcats and into the Carter Mountains, I wanted to talk to a little bit about something that's been going on that I haven't told you about, and that is I've been extremely nervous, even fearful of getting injured. And the further I get, the more nervous I am. And it's interesting, my friends and I'm not the only one that feels this. You know, we've come so far, and to have an injury now would just be so traumatic. And we've seen one or two people have to get off this late, and it's really, really difficult. So I didn't tell you, but back in Vermont, right before New Hampshire, something went wrong with my arm. I slept on it wrong, and I couldn't lift it above my chest for about a week. And I was really concerned because we were going to go into the White Mountains, and I knew I'd need full access to my arm. So I got very nervous about that, and then I fell. I've been falling multiple times. And twice on my ankle, I did some damage that I thought was going to impede my walking, but it got better. So I've been very fortunate so far, but I'm still extremely nervous, and I'm just really, really hoping that that this fear goes away and that I'm okay. Well, I had the biggest spill of my entire AT coming down here. I got my foot caught between those rocks and went into these, and then pushed off and went straight down over here, and I stopped, fortunately, right before this root pierced me, which would have gone into my side. That's where I was. So, wow. It's hard to believe, but this is going to be the final view of the White Mountains for my through hike. I've really enjoyed them. And another milestone, only 300 miles to go. It's hard to believe, but wow, only 300. It took 12 and a half hours, but I did it. I went over the Wildcats, the Carters, and Mount Moriah in one day, and the hostel owner came to pick me up from Gorham and then took me back to the trail the next morning. And here I am. I'm on my way to Maine. It's hard to believe that we're just about to enter our last state. This is Mount Success, and it's proving to be a beast. It's only 1,000 or so feet up, but it's pretty vertical, and it's leading into the Mahoosuc Notch and the Mahoosuc Arm, which are really tough. So this is nothing, I'm guessing, compared to Mahoosuc, but it's a little prep. Well, I have just half a mile to get to the the Maine border, but New Hampshire isn't going to let me go without a fight. These boulders are freaking huge. They're the size of cars. And this is, I think, what I have to look forward to in Mahoosuc. But I got to get down here and get through here to get to Maine. So this view is about a mile past the border crossing into Maine, and I used it as an opportunity to just sit and reflect on the journey I've had thus far. The last 5 months, I'm a little overwhelmed by all that's happened. And I feel so humbled that I've been able to make it this far, that I've made it into the final state of the Appalachian Trail. It's just like, wow, when not everybody has. And I don't know why I'm so lucky, but I'm so grateful that I made it this far. The day after we arrived in Maine, I awoke to fog, and I woke really early because we were going into Mahoosuc Notch that day, which has been billed as the mile on the Appalachian Trail that is both the most fun and the most difficult. So I was very excited about it, and didn't know really what to expect. I've seen it on videos, and but it's very hard to capture on video. I've heard because of the way it's structured. So I was very excited to get there. Okay, I'm officially entering Mahoosuc Notch. It is 7:55 a.m. I'm going to time myself and see how long it takes. It's a mile. It usually takes people between, I guess, an hour and a half to 4 hours, depending on how they get through it. So we shall see. But this is the lead up to it. Not so bad to start, but I hear it gets real bad real quick. So I'll be back. People ask me a lot how I do those setup shots, and they also ask me how much extra walking I've done on the trail with all the setup shots that I do going back and forth to get my camera. But this is one of them. This is right as I enter Mahoosuc Notch, and I was a little thrown right away. As you can see, I didn't expect this. I couldn't get through here, so I couldn't do a walkthrough shot. So what's going on in my head right now is that I'm giving up. I'm just going to go get my camera and be done with it. And so I'm on my way back to the camera. It's very sharp. There's a lot of moisture on the rocks, and there's a lot of dead trees and branches with spikes all around. And I wasn't expecting this to happen.